I actually, of course, the first stream I actually like prep for is the one where I'm like, I made the announcement like, oh, it's just gonna be chill, and it hopefully will be chill, but I might rant a little bit. I'm gonna try not to. Chaos. It's always morning somewhere. It's not morning where I am either. It's morning somewhere. I think something that could be a good way to start off is how many people here have played Origami King so far? I know that Monkey has. But I wonder how many other people haven't. Yeah, I'm in basically the same boat, Monkey. I looked at what some of the last collectibles were though, and I was just like, I don't. Okay, so yeah, there is a, what Akma said, there is a Bob-omb character that is nice, but I will get to that. But basically, just kind of feeling out what people's first stances are right now. You know, like if somebody wants to go in completely spoiler free, you know, stuff like that. If we had a rare occurrence of, you know, everybody having played it, but I can't. Yeah, same Monkey. I can't really be bothered to get like. I know some of them are like 2. Oh my gosh! I should draw Mario drawing me. That would be funny. Oh yeah. Mario is coming out in a week, which has my attention. So sorry, other Mario. Okay, so overall it seems like most people haven't played it or have like the general good vibes to it. And I think I'll start off by saying overall I think I would say I had positive experience, and I'm like hesitating because if I wasn't playing it, it would absolutely be like super positive. Like I recommend watching a playthrough and seeing like the story and stuff. But my biggest gripes were with the battle system. Like I personally did not like it, and like I've seen reviews and stuff that like, you know, point out the good and how people did like it, and I do actually feel like I might be in the minority of like not quite liking it. I know some people didn't like the bosses, but I think most people like the basic combat, which I still didn't. So that is something to keep in mind, like for Hunter, since you're considering getting it in the future. And like I know other people did comment on my tweets about wondering about this kind of stream, that they'd like a second opinion on it. But I do have very specific things that like I just did not like, and I am aware that the stuff that I did not like could be stuff that, you know, other people are fine with, right? And it could like, it does seem like a few of the points are just me, right? So like keeping that in mind is a good idea. It's me. Me with short hair, which I have long hair right now. So what does it say in my notes? Oh yeah, one positive I had was that there was potential in the system. Like I'm not lying when I say, you know, the first few RPG versions of the Paper Marios had, you know, like well, I guess some people might not know, but they had the battle system set up kind of like a stage play. And Origami King has it set up kind of like a outdoor theater, which honestly I do think is a logical next step for it. Like it could have been really, really cool. Am I going to be drawing an even littler Mario? I don't know how far I'll go. But yeah, so the theater like battle system could have been really, really cool. And it's actually really funny when I first saw the video, and I went and found this image before this stream. But when I first saw the like first trailer, you guys would not believe, last year in September, like almost we're 2 days short of a year since I just randomly made this image, because I was thinking about battle systems, and I made this up because I was like, oh, this could be like a fun battle system, and it just says enemy here, but it could be player as well, with the little system that I had made, and like just my head, I was just thinking of little ideas. But if you guys have seen anything of Origami King, this is basically the system. It is a little bit different in Origami King, but the idea I had with this was like, you know, the player or enemy would have different types of attacks. I know, Aqua, it was such a coincidence. I was kind of like, did somebody steal this? But I didn't post it anywhere, so I was like, but you know, like they'd have different ranges of attacks, and you know, you could see an enemy and learn their attack patterns and be like, okay, I don't ever want to be close to this enemy. You want to like stay mid-range or something, and like, you know, there might be attacks that hit just here, or like maybe it's something you have to throw, so it would be just here, or it's like a beam, so it could go in a fan shape, or if it's like another beam, but it's not as powerful, but it does hit everything in this area, or you know, you do a stomp and it hits something in the middle. You do a bigger stomp, it hits up to the mid-range, or like a huge stomp, it hits everything, right? But you know, like this seemed really interesting to me because, you know, makes sense. I just made it up in my head and I thought it was a cool concept. So when I did see that in the Origami King trailer, I was actually a little bit excited. I was like, oh, you know, maybe they'll do something sort of like the idea that I had that I clearly liked, because like, I made it up. But they didn't quite do that. It was like a little bit more simple, which, you know, is still fine. You can still do cool stuff with that. Like, it's just it doesn't have like the, you know, 1 here and then 1 2 1 2 3 sort of thing, which again, the simplified is not bad, but you only really have the option to do in a line with jump, 2 squares near you with hammer, and then the whole circle with a pow block, which does very minimal damage but just stuns things. And like, that's a good start to like strategies and stuff there, but that's all you get, really. And like, you do kind of get sort of another hit all thing, but it's not really in your control. Yeah, Aqua, there's not a lot of options. It's like just the line, which again, like, you know, my thing has different areas, and then like just hitting here or hit it all for very little. Yeah, and I do get that they were trying to go for a puzzle thing, but I don't know, I feel like there was such potential there for like cool strategies, and like, rather than, because the way the system is now in Origami King, it is kind of like you know, have enemies like this, and it's like, oh, okay, move this over 1 to get the perfect jump line, and then bam, you do a jump and you kind of win. It's like a puzzle approach they took, where you want to find the best, quote unquote best lineup, and then you can basically win in whatever amount of moves they give you. Except I feel like it would have been cooler to not have like a puzzle, but like you do have the ability to move the rings, or you could slide them too. Like, you can go, like, if somebody was here, you could move them across the way to like here if you wanted or something. And I think it would have been cool to use that like movement system, but to place them so you're like, aha, I moved them so they're all in a fan shape, and I, you know, got a fan weapon so I can hit all of them now. But like maybe you also had the option to get them in a hammer position or a line or something, but like, you know, you're lining them up to maybe get the most dangerous enemies out of the way, and then, you know, there's weaker ones that you didn't hit, but you're fine with it because they're weak, but you had to get like the healer out of the way or something, you know? But that's not the direction that they took. And I definitely know that, you know, you shouldn't base criticism on, you know, what potential there was there, but it just was a disappointment to me because they did very little with what they were going for. Sorry, just taking a drink. Oh, goodness. And yeah, Aqua, that's another... Oh, God. There's something stuck in my throat. Yeah, I'm good. Oh, so you have played the back ones. Oh my god. Ooh. Was... Do I need to say save in this stream? No. I'm not really drawing much. I'm coughing much. God. Just a second. Oh god. Been talking a lot lately. I am good though. I will do a bit of drawing right now. I don't know, just to give... Oh, something just caught. You only need to say save if I'm doing this part. Oh yeah, I love Olivia. She was great. I like the multiplier in concept. I wish it was... I wish it was just ×2. And I know that's beefy, but there is a point I'll get to, hopefully, if I don't, like, cough a lung out. Which, again, I'm good. I think it's just literally something stuck in my throat. I did a lot of talking yesterday, too. One of the things that was so great about the early Paper Marios was the simple numbers. And like, I'm gonna just give an example of some of the numbers in Origami King. And I'll write them to give it a voice. little rest. So like, question mark is for what I'm not sure, because I couldn't be bothered to remember all of it. Actually, all of them are. These are just rough numbers. I have no idea, honestly. Like, maybe? I don't know. Oh no. Oh, actually, that is a good question. Okay, it looks like the stream has been going good, though. Okay, so in Origami King, I am glad that they added a jump and a hammer that never went away. That does help a lot. But if you line up, you get a 1.5 multiplier. Which, like Chaos said, that is a lot of math. And the thing is, you get a little bit of power up over the game, just, you know, as the game progresses. So these numbers, like the base, these two, the bases, they change. And they don't tell you how much they change them. They don't tell you almost anything. Like, you don't know most anything for sure. Which, do you remember how I was like, they want it to be a puzzle? This is my huge issue with the battle system. When you have a puzzle, you should have most, if not all, of the pieces, so that you can put together the solution. But you don't. There are so many things that this system hides from you until you get to like a certain point, or until you do the action, and it is infuriating. Like, as a small list of like stuff that you don't get told, I have it written down. Let's see. Where did it go? I know I wrote it. There we go. Okay. So, how many actions you get? It's not set in stone. Sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 3. What else? How much HP enemies have. Which I had times. I had times where I like killed an enemy with like a 36 or something, and then I did 35 and it wasn't enough. And I did 35 that other time because I used a weaker weapon or something. And I was so mad when that happened, because I was like, if I knew, then I would have just done the the good boot or whatever. But I didn't. I had no idea. And then even this, even all these damages, like I said, when you level up, you don't know. It doesn't tell you how much base damage you do. And then when you get the 1.5, because it's such a weird number, and because, like, you know, some people just really don't like to do math. And you're timed in these battles, by the way. So you quite literally don't really have the time to do the math for all of these different things. at the end of the game, I had like 10 different items. And it's like, you want me to keep track in my head without being told how much damage all of these individual items do. And then on top of that, you want me to keep track of the math? And remember, like, in the original Paper Mario, you did like 1 damage or 2. And like by the end of the game, you were doing like 6 with your hammer and then 3 with your jump, which was just like, hammer was ×2 of whatever your jump was. It was so easy to just keep track of everything. There's actually even more it doesn't tell you. What else? Oh yeah, so in the game, you kind of, at certain points, sort of like the ball bomb that was mentioned earlier, you kind of have partners. But here's the thing. Partner RNG. You don't know if your partner is going to successfully attack or not. There were times when... Oh, yeah, we'll see you later, Chaos. Have a good dinner. Honestly, this one might be a little longer. But yeah, sometimes they don't attack. So I would occasionally line things up and I'd be like, okay, partner, go ahead and like finish off that last enemy. And they didn't attack it. And then that enemy attacked me because I was hoping that the partner would finish them off. And they didn't. So like off the top of my head, there's like these 4 pretty major things that you don't know when you go into battles, and it's a puzzle. You know, like it's like, and I know Aqua asked earlier, why do you sometimes get like 2 or 3 actions? Because they give you the number of actions that is perfect to win when the puzzle is there. But I have a big thing to say on like the how many actions, because throughout the first area, it's like the red streamer area. For like a good like 3 hours, I always got 2 ring moves and 2 actions. I was just consistently getting that, you know, right? So I was getting pretty good at that, and then I came across this random battle where I needed 3 ring moves and 3 actions, and I was so angry because I was like, I can't do this. I can't solve it. You know, like it's not giving me what I need. Except then I looked at the number of ring moves I have, which like the way the screen is set up is that you're looking like this is where you're looking. You're looking at the circle with the enemies on it, right? And you're trying to solve it, so like you're staring here, and all of the menu stuff, like there's a timer, which I'll get to, and then the number of ring moves you have, and then I don't even remember all the other stuff, but like there's a bunch of stuff, but like your focus is here because this is the freaking puzzle. And because you're timed, you want to solve this thing as fast as possible. So I'm not looking here. Especially because, like I said, for the last 3 hours, the beginning of the game, I've only ever had 2. I've only ever had 2 all the time. So I'm not expecting this number to change. So then I did look over and I saw I had 3 and I was like, whoa. Like it was in the tutorial, but again, that was 3 hours ago. And I had this reinforced again and again and again. 2 ring, 2 actions, 2 ring, 2 actions. Across a course of like dozens of battles. So this is what stuck with me, not the one time in the tutorial that I had 3. And that's like the scraping the beginning of the battles. I really did not like it. But again, that said, a lot of people do like it. So like I don't want this to completely negatively, you know, get this across, because a lot of people out there do like and enjoy the battles, right? Like, it's one of those things that, like, you really do have to, like, try it yourself first, because I watched a lot of playthroughs of the beginning part myself to see, like, was it worth getting it? And eventually I did decide, I was like, you know what, I am going to pick this up. And playing the system versus watching the system is obviously super different, right? But, like, everything else, if I get there, is, like, super awesome about the game. But I do have to get my battle gripes out of the way, because, geez. I think one of the other things, I'll mention the timer, because the game itself actually had, like, a good version of the timing mechanic in the game. So, like, that's easier to talk about in the sense that I can back it up with, like, here's a positive, too, because I don't want it to just be completely negative. So, the timer in the basic battles bothers me because when I'm doing puzzles, I like the fact that I have time. I like that I can, like, take my own sweet time with puzzles. Like, I like sitting and solving a puzzle, like, sort of slowly almost. Like, I enjoy that aspect. So when there's a timer there, it adds this, like, tension that I don't like. And some people did like it. I watched that in reviews, and they mentioned that they liked the tension that came at the time. So, like, that could be different for you. But for me, I didn't like it, because when I think of timers and puzzles, I think of how fast can you solve it. Not you have this amount of time to solve it, it's how fast can you solve it. So instead of, you know, I guess a timer versus a stopwatch. And I like the stopwatch. And it actually was in the game. There's a place called the Battle Lab. It opens up really early where you can practice battle stuff. And one of them has a little machine that it's like, here's 16 ring puzzles. How fast can you solve it? And I had a blast with that. I loved it. This system that I'd been hating the entire time. I go in that building, it's the exact same system, but I loved it because they changed the way the timer worked. It also was like, it was focused simply on the puzzle aspect. There wasn't any fighting, you didn't have to defeat the things. It was just, can you get the perfect lineups, and how fast can you get the perfect lineups? And it was so fun. I enjoyed it so much. And it actually made me more mad about the regular battles because I'm like, you did it! You did it in the game! You solved it! You fixed the problem I had in the game itself! Or one of the problems I had. But yeah, and it's like, I know you can buy more time. I know you can, and for those of you who haven't played, that might sound weird, but you have money, and you can buy more time. Literally. But it's like, that doesn't solve the fact that there's still a timer up there making me nervous that half the time I don't even see until it's at like, hey, you have 3 seconds left. Which then I'm freaking out. And if I freak out and buy more time, even if I buy more time, because I freaked out about it, I forgot everything that I was thinking about. So I'd have to start all over again. And like, I got all of, you can get like little upgrades to, like, you buy them, it's just little items that can improve how much time there is that you have, but that they didn't help. It was still a timer there, it still freaked me out. And oh no, those were all the positives I had on basic battles. Oh no. Okay, timer. Oh yeah, so one of the big aspects about the game that I really like, actually, is collecting toads. Except I don't quite like how the toads are used in battles. Oh yeah, Aqua, I totally forgot about that. I watched that video, but yeah, as the completionist mentions, if you buy time, it locks you out of a super duper secret ending or whatever, along with, like, if you ever die at all, even in sequences where there's an instant game over, you're locked out of a, like, 100% actual 100%, which is like that's awful. Like, even just like game design wise, stuff like that is so aggravating. Oh. But yeah, so over the course of the game, one of the things I did really like was collecting the toads. It was really fun, like a little treasure hunt, like hide and seek or something. And in concept, they can help you in battle with a literal pay-to-win system. Except my little problem with that is that they didn't really do much once you got more of them. You know, like you can... Maybe it was like tied completely to how much money you gave. I didn't check too much. But if you pay 100 coins, they do the first puzzle move for you. And I do get like the reasoning behind that, and overall I think of that as a good idea for a hint-ish system, except I also don't, because what this turned into for me was I can't be bothered. Because when you win a battle, you will always get more than 100 coins. So, because of all the, like, dumb setup for how these puzzles work, that you have so little information, you're timed, like, and to me just is not enough time. It's just, like, stressful. I was just like, do the first move for me. After that, I don't care. Like, every single battle after a certain point, I paid them, like, my timer started off at 60 seconds, and at 59.73, I'd pay the toads, because I couldn't be bothered to do the puzzle. Yeah, a self-fulfilling loop of the puzzle being permanently one move less. And like for super simple ones that I saw the solution of immediately, I'd do them, of course, you know, like why waste that? But if I didn't get it at a glance, I was just like, I don't care. Like, cause it wasn't fun for me. And I'm just like, if I could just basically have like no penalty, essentially, because again, you make this money back, why would I not? Except also, even if you collect like 300 toads, it doesn't really get better. Again, I don't know if it's like you have to pay more money to do it, but like I feel like, because they throw some things to you to do a little bit of damage, but I don't know. I feel like if this was also, if I were doing it, I'd have the more toads you got, the better the rewards, maybe, or something. And like maybe that is how it is, but I don't know. I'm not gonna waste money to figure out where all those tiers are of how helpful they can be. Also, it is pay to win. It's like totally pay to win. Oh right. Oh right. Oh right. This aspect of the puzzles. So, or the battles, I guess. So your main incentive for battles is confetti. Just putting so much effort into this confetti. And coins. There's no leveling up. It's just confetti and coins. Here's a big problem with that. I hate the battle system so much that I would rather go and hit a tree for literally 3 minutes straight, because trees have never-ending confetti, than do a battle. As for coins, if you fill in not bottomless holes, or you hit invisible blocks, like all of them, or a good chunk of them, or like you do side quests or stuff, you get coins. And a portion of why you want to spend coins is battles. Remember, like, you can buy time. You can buy time, and you buy stuff from the toads. So one of the main things for coins is battles. But if you don't go in battles, that's one less thing you need to spend coins on. And as long as you can find a tree, you have infinite confetti. So why would I be bothered to go into any battles? And like, I know that some things can get expensive, but here's the thing. You can get an item later, again, it's not really like a spoiler thing, it's just something you buy that will give you lots of money if you just walk around a lot. Infinitely, I would want that more. The battles basically become pointless because every other thing you get from them is obtainable elsewhere. And like, the mandatory battles that you do give you a lot of money. Like, the bosses often give you like 4,000 or so, which is a decent chunk. Like, a lot of the stuff that costs the most is collectible stuff, which you can save till the end of the game when you have that thing that gives you money for walking around. Yeah, like you said, Aqua, the game loop is not really incentivized. The only times I really did battle for any of these were a few times where there was no way to get confetti and I needed it to like actually progress. So I begrudgingly went in a battle. Oh man, boss battles. Oh no. Again, I'm not gonna spoil anything. But yeah, boss battles, I especially was like, oh man. Oh man. Jesus. These boss battles, like, I usually, when I'm playing a game, I put down a game once I get to like a good stopping point. You know, like the end of a dungeon, maybe you just got a new party member, maybe a new dungeon just opened up and you have like a save point right outside of it, so it's like, okay, no, explore it next time. These boss battles are like the first time in a long time that I have almost just put down a game because I hated this part so much that it was just like, I can't deal with it anymore. I didn't overall, but I got so close, which is like, it doesn't happen a lot. So, and I know Monkey doesn't like the bosses either. But the way that the bosses work, I'll explain it. It's still the circle system. So I at least like that they kept that. But instead of Mario is usually the one in the middle, right? And then so he's usually in the middle. But the bosses are in the middle for a boss fight, and Mario's on the outside. And you have to line things up so that you can walk to the middle. Oh, and then you also have to go on a panel of some sort at some point so that you can hit the boss. And I hate it. I hate it so much. And I was trying to figure out exactly what it was that like killed me so much about this, because honestly, as a concept, I think it's fine as a concept, but I was just like, what is... Yeah, this wasn't the main thing, but this was the first thing I noticed was, as Akko said, the boss battles are quite different from the regular ones. And I remember the first boss I got into, I was like, okay, I'm finally... I still don't like it, but I'm getting a hang of this regular system. And then it was like, oh, you getting a hang of it? Too bad. Here's something completely different. And I was just like, are you kidding me? But the thing I realized, and it was almost at the end of the game, but I realized exactly what ticked me off. I was gonna use more strong language there, but ticked me off was that the boss battles make your menu into a puzzle. And that is what kills me. Because when I'm fighting those bosses, I know exactly what I want to do, but sometimes the things just don't line up. You see the thing, you see the punch thing on the board, and instead of it being like, you know, like, do you want to punch? Do you want to jump? You know, do you want to, like, defend, like a shield or something? Blah, blah, blah. It goes like, oh, you want a, like, nice linear menu? No, you have to walk over to the action that you want to take. And sometimes the action you want to take isn't on the board. It's inside a treasure chest that's on the board that you have to walk to. Except here's the thing, the treasure chest opens while your path is already set. So you just have to hope to God that it lands where you want it to on your path that you've already made and can't change midway through. And sometimes stuff you actually need, mandatory things to beat the boss, are in a treasure chest. You can't see me right now, but I am so mad. Like, at least for the regular puzzle battle system, it's more of a line them up so that your moves do more effective damage. You know? Like, that at least has something to it. There's some sort of, like I said, I would have preferred if you had more, you know, control over the strategy, that, like, you had options, and then you lined them up to, like, you know, work with that. But at least this was something. This is a menu as a puzzle, and it sucks. And as Monkey says, there are little... You can walk over these little hint panels, and you'll open up a little letter, and it gives you a little hint. And what gets me the most about these hint things is that Olivia is a hint system. When you're on your menu, her little buttons, like, that has her icon, says, ask for a hint. And she'll often just say, well, you better line up the panels the way you want them to. And I'm like, what? How about you tell me what's in those little letters, instead of me having to walk over to them, and it says something like, hey, you need to go to the blue, you know, panel or whatever, and you read that, and then Mario's like, okay, the blue panel, which is not on my set path that I had to put on before I read the note, because I don't know what I was supposed to do. Like, if Olivia told you this instead, then you could go, oh, okay, I have to solve the puzzle to make myself go to the blue panel, and then I'm going to be successful. But instead, you have to walk to the letter first, on your way to God knows where, first, because you don't know where you're going. Like I said earlier, like, you don't, for puzzles, you need the pieces. And they put the pieces on the board just haphazardly, and you have to open this letter to be like, you need the green piece, as you're walking to the red piece. You know, you're like, I didn't know! You didn't tell me! God! And then even if you figure out the boss's thing, you have to repeat it. Again, and again, and again, like 5 times most of the time. And it's just not fun, because walking takes so long. Because you have to set up the path, go, okay, I'm ready to go, and then he just walks along the little arrow things. Sometimes you have to go around the entire circle, because the down arrow was like right beside the one that goes this way, so you have to watch him go all the way, and then sometimes you have to walk all the way back around, and then it goes down, and then you're finally at the thing you want. And as Monkey mentioned earlier, there are these special things that you have to turn on. You actually have to walk on the on switch first. One of the hints I got in a boss battle was, oh, you don't see the on switch? Oh, it's in the treasure chest. You gotta go get that first so that you can turn on the thing that you need. And then the next turn, I was able to get to the on switch, but I wasn't able to get to the magic circle in the same turn. So then I had to wait till my next turn while the magic circle is on to then walk to the magic circle that I needed to do on the first turn. Ah! Every single time I had a boss battle, I just kept asking myself, who approved this? Who playtested this? Who did this? This is awful. Or, oh god, oh no. I need to get to, like, positive aspects. I'm trying to get all the, like, battle stuff out of the way first. Because I think this stream I'm just gonna finish talking about what I wrote down. Because my battle notes are honestly the majority of, like, the big gripes I had. So once we're through with this, it's like, it's totally fine. What? Oh yeah, who would have thought this was a good battle mechanic? Yeah, I feel like there's potential here for something, just not fighting. Or, like, something. Like, I feel like trying to do, again, for, like, the main battles, there is the good potential there because you're setting up something to get the best result. You can get away with not as good results, like, you can still fight the enemies, it still works. But with the boss battles, you have to do the right thing, or you're gonna be there for an hour, and it sucks. Like, it shouldn't be you have to solve it, or, well, like, there are puzzle bosses out there that work, but again, I feel like it's those problems I mentioned earlier that you don't have all the pieces. For instance, one of the bosses has a mechanic that if you beat it, you get its HP down to 0, it can come back to life if you didn't beat it in the right way. I did that. I suffered through this awful battle for the whole thing, and I whittled it down to 0 HP, and it came back to life. Because I didn't get the little hint note that told me, oh, you have to finish it off this way, or it's gonna have all of its health back. I turned the game off because I was like, no. Then I went to look. Actually, I don't even think I looked at the hint. I don't think it, like, told me the right way when it got its HP back. Olivia was just like, oh no, that's bad. And I was just like, you think? So I looked up how to beat it because I could not be bothered, because I had already spent all that time weaving my way again and again and again to hit this thing, and it just came back because I didn't finish it off the correct way, and it didn't tell me that I had to finish it off the correct way, so I have to do it all over again. I think that big issue is that it forces you to fail to learn. And this is not always a bad thing if the failures are quick. Then it's fine. You know, because like it's easy to be like a 2-second move. You're like, in the older Paper Mario games, you're like, can I jump on this? Jump. Oh, I can't. There you go. You learned. It took 3 seconds. You're done. But in this, if I want to know if I can jump on it, I have to go through like a minute of the puzzle to get there, like 10 seconds of him walking there, a few more seconds of going through the menu to get to jump. Then I jump, and then I find out, no, you can't. It's like almost like 2 minutes to find out if I can do something or not. And then it's like, nope. And when you're further into the game, you have more and more options, which means you have more and more things to test through failure, which means more and more going through that darn circle again and again and again and again and again and again. Because unless you pick up some special panel that gives you another action in this fight, you only get one action per turn, because it knocks you back out to the back of the circle every time, even when the boss is stunned and can't knock you back. Mario's like, well, I gotta go back to the outside of the circle, because some reason, I don't know why. Yeah, again, I don't want to like turn people completely off of it, because there are really good aspects in this game. Like Monkey mentioned that, like the story, honestly, I really enjoyed it. The humor is amazing. I laughed so many times. Like the locales are much more interesting than I've seen recently from Paper Mario. Like the music is just top notch. But yeah, the fights for me nearly broke this, especially the bosses. It was just insufferable. Bah. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, I forgot. You know how we're almost done with the battle stuff, don't worry guys. You know how I mentioned that you have, you know, like these different boots and hammers, right? Yeah, a lot of the bosses, it doesn't matter if you choose any of those. You know, like this boot, it doesn't matter if it's shiny, it doesn't matter, you know, if it's flashy, whatever, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, a good hammer, legendary, whatever, they all do the same damage on certain bosses. So you can, like, waste a use of one of your consumable items because you thought to try and fail. I think that is another aspect of this failure thing I talked about. Because your items, like, some of your actions are consumable, not only do you get punished by it not working very well, you get punished by it using some of your consumable item. So you get double punishment, almost triple, because it takes so long. So you don't want to figure out through trial and error, because one failure is like 3. For like a super long time. It takes so long. What else? Oh yeah, Jello Apocalypse actually mentioned in a stream of his one time, he mentioned this really good point, that like the more button presses and sub-menus that you need to do to get to actually attacking an enemy, it's not good. Because you're waiting so long. Okay, so Aqua asks, Do you think an FP or MP system would work better than consumable? Absolutely. Consumable systems, I feel like the best way to do a consumable system is in the way of card decks, because then you get the best of both worlds, where like a card is consumed, and ironically Color Splash was with cards, but it didn't do it this way. A card is consumed, but it goes in your discard deck or whatever, and then like once you run out of the deck, then you get them back. So like it's gone, but it's gone not forever. You know, like if you can get through your entire deck, you're like, oh, okay, I can get that good card back. And it's not lost forever, it's just if you use it at like the beginning of a battle, you know you have to wait to use it again. Yeah, and like I've never played Baten Kaitos, but like I know that there are games out there that use a card system, and they work because it's like semi-consumable. You don't lose something forever. And like, yeah, you can argue you can buy a bunch of consumable items and stuff, but as I mentioned before, if you're not battling a lot, what is the point of buying all those items? I actually got enough that through invisible blocks to just hold me over. I had so many extras at the end of the game, and I bought like 1 or 2 things. But when you use a consumable, not a consumable, like a FP magic system, that is also nice because with MP/FP, you can use items to get that back. It's like the card system again, right? You can consume it, but you can get it back like in the battle itself. Or it's just like a time thing, or it resets for the next battle, you know? Or you get a little block or something, or, you know, if you know you use a lot of FP stuff, then you know, oh, okay, I just gotta buy items that'll refill that. Oh yeah, Monkey, Sticker Star is an absolutely horrendous example of a consumable system. One of the things they actually did okay that I mentioned before with the consumable system is that they did add the jump and hammer that never go away. That is a good first step, because then you don't have to buy or scrounge around for these things. You do have a reliable one like this. I think I've gotten most of the stuff. Oh yeah, one positive I do have for boss battles, very rare, is that the theming idea behind the bosses was, I liked that. I liked that there was 2 kind of like factions-ish, sort of, like, I don't know how to word it, it's not really quite factions, and it's not too spoilery, you get kind of the idea within the first area. But I think story-wise that helped break things up a little bit. I still hated all of them, but I did like that concept, that it wasn't just all Ollie's. That's the name of the Origami King, you learn it in like the first 10 minutes. It wasn't all his army, there was a different kind of boss in there too. So that was nice. Okay, Chaos, I have a question about Origami King. Does it reference either the... There is like a few like visual things. Technically the first area is also called Toe Town, but I'm gonna get to that in the design area of things. Last things to finish up battle system, we're almost done, guys, is what I called nitpick corner. It's very tiny things that just they got to me because of game design stuff. Battle grapes. Yeah, the names of the Origami siblings, the pun didn't transfer. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I remember being like, oh, that's cute. So my nitpicks for battles is that it tells you, like, oh, it's Mario's turn, or it's the enemy's turn, in like a 2 or 3 second long, like it has this banner, you know, woo, and the thing is, it's not like, it's just a standard banner. It's not even like a really like pretty one or anything. Which at least if it was like really cool looking, like a Persona 5 thing, you know, like it'd be worth it just for it looking cool. But it's just very standard. And for me, game design wise, a banner like that only really makes sense in multiplayer games because you have multiple actual people playing, and then like, you know, if somebody's going off to get a snack and they're playing Luigi in Mario Party, and then Luigi's turn comes up, they can go like, hey man, your turn, it's your turn, you know, like it actually makes sense in that. But this is a one-player game. There is only Mario, and there's only the enemy, which is not me. I am Mario, the enemy is not me. And then like same thing with partners. When it's or allies, it doesn't come up a lot, but it's me or not me. I don't need to know this. And even if you wanted, this is one of the most snarky things I put in my notes. It was, you know, if we want a visual that it's the player's turn, it's called the menus popping up. I don't need a banner. I can see it going, hey, you have Ring's turn. And I go, oh, thank you. I know it's my turn now. It's not even like a time saver thing if you need time to think, because it's a timed thing. It's like 3 seconds and it goes away. It's not like a press and it goes away, so you have time to breathe. It's like, no, it just wastes your time and then goes away. It's such a small thing, but I've been in like little game design classes and stuff like that really grinds my gears, because I'm like, what's the point of that? Similar thing happens when you activate magic circles. It's like, I get it, it's on, you don't need to tell me. And then in the very first area, they show you the solutions for the puzzles when you get into the battle, and then they like jump to where their puzzle places are. And as a concept, I think that's totally fine, but it lasted the entire first area, like up until you did the, I guess technically second boss. And that was just, it was too long. I was actually worried that the entire game was going to do that. I was like, are you seriously going to show me the solutions to the puzzles every single time before like the battle even starts? What's the point of lining them up then? Like, I didn't like doing the puzzles, but I was also like, at least try to make it a puzzle. It'd be like if in Professor Layton it was like, I just saw that guy in that window. Here's a puzzle to figure out where that guy lives. Which window? And it's like, that one. You showed it to me. We are out of the battle corner though. We did it. We're out. Next up I had concepts and designs. I actually mentioned before that I can't remember if I saved a specific picture for these, but the Origami King does look very, very pretty. That is something that is like absolutely true. And all of this is going to be like different per people, and it's just, oh, of course, still my stuff. For me personally though, I actually am not, there's something about the craft aesthetic that I don't love. And it's weird because like logically speaking, with my preferences and like art angles and stuff, like I should, but I don't. And I think I figured out the fact that it's like, it's very generic designs, I'd say, in like the sense of like it still looks beautiful and there's a lot of work put in it, don't get me wrong, but like it doesn't feel very Mario, if that makes any sense. And I actually picked some pictures. So like this is Origami King Toad Town. I do like this house because it actually looks like a toad house, right? Like you got the mushroom here on the top. Like it actually looks, you know, like Mario-ish. But like if you don't have that one in there and like you you take Mario out of this, and obviously like the thing, this could be a different game. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not much in a lot of the areas that really screams the Mario aesthetic. Yeah, like Chaos said, it's a paper aesthetic, but it's not like, there's not really much Mario in there. You know, like it could go with any sort of graphic. And again, like it's so pretty. And you know, like especially in motion, like the different ideas they had for water and stuff. But it doesn't feel Mario. Now compared to 64's Toad Town, it's more cartoony. You often have, you know, stars everywhere. Star there, there's the Toad Town thing. It's more of a cartoony look to even just all the buildings. You know, this sign is right here, very, very full, very, very vibrant. Like even if we're looking at this, it does look like there's, you know, saturated colors, but it's not as saturated. Like it's like a little bit washed out or something, but you know, it takes away from that pop, that big pop. You know, we have more stars here, the big stars on the side. There's like this Toad Town thing, another big star on the gate. I actually just saw an HD Paper Mario like video thing where they took HD textures and did the characters and like some of the background so far in the HD, and they changed the gate, and I didn't like it because you know what? It took away the eyes on the star. Yeah, Chaos. To me, the Paper Mario 64 Mushroom Kingdom is like the canon version. It's so, even like, again, like the weird shape of the houses and such, and like this garden down here, the vibrant, really, really, really poppy colors, you know? Like, it's just, that screams Mario. All of this screams Mario to me. Oh, those aren't handles, they're eyes? I mean, they could be handles, but I always thought, because, you know, you get stars in Super Mario 64, and they look like that. Oh yeah, even like the backgrounds here, right? Like, clouds are standard, but you got these weird, like, hills back here that's just like, it's so odd. It's like such a like Mario approach. But yeah, like you can see this comparison here. And again, I like this house, but I was kind of like looking, and I think this is the only house that looks like that. And it's like such a shame. It's like all of them just, they don't ooze the, you know, Mario charm. Even the origami itself, like this hanging up and stuff, it doesn't scream Mario to me. But again, like, it's totally beautiful. Like, I cannot deny that, especially like in motion and like the sound effects, the music. Oh my gosh, the music, fantastic. But I think one of the there is an area though that absolutely, I'm not gonna show it because I don't want to, like, if somebody is gonna watch a playthrough and stuff, I want you to have like that genuine like whoa experience. I'll just say it's in the yellow area. It's the town there, for those who know. That one was really cool. That was really Mario. Like, they had, if you've played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that area, that really did put that Mario spin on there. I think mostly because, like, there was, like, well, I won't say it. Again, I want you guys, if you watch a playthrough of it, which I do recommend. I absolutely recommend that. It was really cool. Where do we go? I do have a picture of the second. Oh yeah, and it was probably shown in the trailer. I don't have a picture of it, but I do have a picture of the second area. Just because there was actually a direct, like, Mario comparison, Paper Mario. Oh, it does keep getting scammed. Oh. Yeah, good night, you guys. I'll have the recording up on YouTube too, so. this won't be too much longer. But I'm just gonna compare sort of Mario and like shriny buildings. So like you can see like such a Mario flavor, like the big chomp, even just the shapes, like the exaggerated shapes there, the big yellows, you know, like it oozes that Mario flair. And then again, this is from Origami King, and it's beautiful. Do not get me wrong, it's absolutely beautiful. But like, compare the two. It looks too real. Which is like a weird thing to say, but it's like, it doesn't feel like Mario anymore. It's absolutely like gorgeous, it is. But yeah, like Chaos said, it's more generic. It's more on the generic side. Like, it just kind of looks, you know, like again, if I scroll up and take out the Mario characters, there's not much telling us that this is a Mario game. Like, maybe the things on the top. Maybe? I can't even really see what they are. They might be like Koopas or something, I don't know, but like, it looks gorgeous, it does, but Mario almost feels out of place. And it's funny because Super Mario 3D Land didn't have that like same issue. Like, bright green roofing, like bright yellow siding, like the red there, like the lights on the side. You could probably have like another step towards a little bit more Mario, but like it's still got that really bright coloring that isn't as expected, you know? And again, like, I'm not saying, like, this is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. But it doesn't feel Mario. Oh, right. And this was in the trailer. The bosses being stationary. And it's not even, like, fun stationary. You know, like, you couldn't do like a wacky, like there are so many novelty items out there. You're telling me you couldn't think of like a novelty pair of scissors or something, like, I don't know, like maybe it had like googly eyes or something, like I don't know, like like just something more than, or like a pair of bunny scissors or something, which I love the you know, personalities they gave to them, but like, I don't know, just try to do something with the design. You know, like, it's the designs for the bosses, other than one. There was one, which was in the trailer. It's like rubber band. They made like a rubber band humanoid thing. That was the only one that like took some actual creative liberties and made something. The other ones were just like, you can buy this at Staples. Like, it has like a little insignia on it, and that's it. Like, you could actually go out and buy, you know, the things. And it's just like, it's so disappointing, and I can't imagine how that would have been for like the character designers. That, okay, just take a picture of a roll of tape and you're done. Like, yeah. One very minor thing on like the character design stuff. Like, there's so much to say on that, but I won't, because other people have said more on it, and we already did a lot in the battles, which is my main thing. But I just felt so sad because, and like, there was an interview that said something along the lines of, you know, the writer had to work extra hard, or the writers had to work extra hard to make memorable characters that when you talk to them again later, you could go, oh yeah, it was that guy, and like, you know what, the writers did awesome. Like, they wrote some really amazing lines, really amazing characters. I think that they did come to face that challenge, but my problem is, why did they have that huge challenge in the first place? Some of that should have went to the character designers, and I actually have an example from Thousand Year Door. If you guys played that one, you'll remember the Traveling Sisters 3. They were just NPCs, they just walked around, they kind of went to the same places Mario did in that game. and they always stood in like a formation like this. And I've actually been watching a blind playthrough by somebody on YouTube of this game, and one of the chapters in that game has people looking different. There's like a curse in the town, and the traveling sisters are there, and obviously they look different because of this curse, but because they're in this same... Oh. Video is freezing? That's weird because, yeah, my what is it called? The program tells me that nothing's wrong on my end. I think you might need to refresh or something. But yeah, they always stood in this formation. And because, you know, they looked different, but they were standing in this formation, the player went, wait a minute. And he goes, oh no, it's the Traveling Sisters 3! They didn't have to say, these characters didn't have to say anything to him. They didn't even have to look the same. But because he had seen these three before, and again, they're NPCs, you don't have to talk to them. They're just standing around, but like they look like this, and they're standing in that formation. He just glanced, and he made the connection. The writer didn't have to do anything. Why does the writer have to do that for Origami King? And again, like it was a neat challenge for or neat, quote unquote, for the writer to do, and I think that they did it quite well. But why did they have to do it in the first place? That's like my big, you know, like these poor character designers, like you see some of the concept arts and stuff, and they're held back. I think like a interview said like the IP team or something. There's some sort of rule or something that is holding them back from being able to do big modifications, or not even like, it's not even big ones. Like the Thousand Year Door and the original Paper Mario didn't make that big of changes. Like in the original Toad Town, they had like, you know, braids for a girl Toad, and like that was it. Like it's just braids. Like it's not a lot, but they're not allowed to do that anymore, it sounds like, which is just, it's so baffling to me. Because why? That's just basic character design 101. Like, oh. Okay, good stuff about the story. I think we already mentioned, like, the story was really good. Personally, I don't think on the level of, Thousand Year Door or especially now Super Paper Mario. Super Paper Mario is like a whole other league. It's just amazing. But definitely around 64s, it was really good. So funny. I laughed so many times. I actually cried a few times, dude. Like it did well in that aspect. Definitely recommend for the experience of the story. It's fun. It's a really fun time, other than the battles. Like Olivia especially, I love her. She's so cute. She's such a good character for... Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Which, especially because I was so mad at the battle system so many times. The fact that I did still come out of it liking it should be a testament to the fact that, like, it really was good. You know? Like, you heard my rambles, and the fact that I was still able to have an overall positive experience despite all of that with the battling, like, that should tell you something. But yeah, Olivia was just, like, she was a really good partner character. And I watched a playthrough of Color Splash. I played Sticker Star back in the day. We don't talk about Kirsty. Huey was okay. But yeah, Olivia is just, she's fantastic. Like, really. Quite, like, pretty close to Tippy, I would say. Like, really, really, really good. I didn't do layering on this at all. Oh no. I'll do a better Olivia drawing someday. What the heck? Did it? Apparently I did that on that layer. The villain wasn't as good. His motivation was a bit interesting. I won't say what, but if you do watch or play it, you'll understand. I saw that in reviews too, where people said that, and I was like, oh, I can't give you it. I'll see for myself. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, no, okay. And I think the angle for partners was actually interesting, because you don't really get like traditional partners, which, you know, I wish we could go back to that, but it was kind of like, yeah, see you, Chaos. It was kind of like, not every single area, but some of them, a good handful of them, you got to have a partner that would come with you, but like only for that area. Like they didn't like, they lived or whatever at the area that you were currently at, and if you left, they'd be like, I don't really want to go. But because they were there for the whole entire area, and they were the only like partner you had there, and Olivia, of course, you got so much more out of them, I feel like. And like, I love the partners from the old games, but they did have a little, like, they were a little shallow in the fact that, like, you met them in their chapter or whatever, they had a little bit of a story there, and then, like, they're in your party and they can comment on things, but that was about it, you know? Like, it kind of ended there. And I think the idea of, like, a big focus on one single partner in a single area was, like, the next logical step for that system to take. Again, they're not very good in battles and stuff, but story-wise, I think that was a really interesting approach to it. And like, I think that's why the bomb character that people here mentioned is loved that much, because like, that's what they did with him. They had him have a lot of focus for like one full area and a half, I think, and you know, and then like, he didn't join for the rest of the game, but people remembered the chapter he was in, you know? I know, Aqua, that I'd like them being the same, because I don't like them being different. Nintendo can fight me on that. I'll keep them the same. But yeah, I do think that approach to the partner system was a really neat approach. They didn't quite do like full potential with it, I think. Like they definitely could have had like, I think one per chapter would have been fun. But they didn't do that. Oh my god. I'm erasing myself. But there was the start to something there. Oh yeah, I mentioned that already. Finding the toads was really fun in the game. Though they do have like help items, but they're like on a battery, and you have to go like buy the recharge, which is a little annoying, but I think overall the collectible part was really fun. They also have like accessories I mentioned earlier that can help you along the way, and that was nice, but I did also wonder, like, why not just make that, you know, a level up thing? You know, why can't I choose to get more confetti? Why does it have to happen at different times? But, yeah, we're basically in an overall thoughts section right now, kind of in general things, and then I'll get there too. There's a confetti mechanic where you fill in holes. I don't like it, because it like stops you in your tracks, like you're walking and then you have to stop and you throw it. There were often times where you would have a hole and you'd throw a confetti and it'd be missing like it looked like this. It was like black hole, and I'm just gonna do one color because I can't be bothered. It'd be like, hello? Oh, that's okay. It'd be like filled in like I kid you not, like this. And it'd be like, oh no, you need to throw again, and you can't control how much you throw. So Mario would just throw another handful of confetti for the 2 little pieces you have to fill in. And getting the confetti was like I said, like you get it from battles, but I don't like that. I would just tediously hit a tree to get the confetti because I could not be bothered doing the battles. Something I would want to compare the confetti to is cleaning up graffiti in Mario Sunshine, and then Cursed Zones in Okami, if anybody knows that game. So like in Sunshine, you have Flood, and it takes quite a while for Flood to run out, and oftentimes you'll get like new levels or like a new location or something when you cleaned up the graffiti. Like it was really neat. You'd always be kind of like, ooh, what's gonna come up next? And there was always water available really easily, other than like way later levels, but that was just difficulty wrapping up. That makes sense. But that was nice and easy. And then for Okami, it was the same thing. You use your brush and you fill in cursed areas, and then they grow into like more beautiful areas, or sometimes houses and stuff will pop up, and then or animals. Like you get all these different things. You never really know what's gonna come next. And you also get EXP from this. So like both of these have like such interesting. I wrote new levels twice. I was gonna write locations. Oh god. But like you always got like EXP or like something out of it, and like just the beauty of it. There was always like a surprise. But in Origami King, because of the way the confetti is worked, it's on like a wire frame, so you can always kind of like see what's gonna come out of it. So like you'll be like, oh, this is a bench, or oh, this is something to jump on, or you always got some coins, but you lost the confetti, and like you got some completion up, but it didn't feel as cool. And again, like with the Flood, you can walk around and do that. With the Okami version, it doesn't take very long at all. Like you bring out the brush, which is always fun, and you go, and then yeah, it's not as well executed. It is funny sometimes because if you're not filling a hole, you don't run out of confetti. So you can just go up to a character and be like, woo, throw it. That I found the not actual use for confetti to be more fun than the actual use. Also, it was limited, so it was just really annoying to like pick it up. And then I think my biggest problem with the game is that all of the problems are stuff that was quote unquote fixed before. Or in other words, they became problems after they weren't. And like a lot of people are saying like, baby steps forwards. But it's forward to where we already were. And it's like, why is it taking so like, like we started at like, PM64, TTYD. Super Paper Mario is an interesting one because I think the story really improved, but the battle was like, eh. I gotta move this because I realized. And then Sticker Star, like way back here. And then like tiny, well not super tiny, but like a decent chunk forward, Color Splash. And then a decent thing further with Origami King. But it's like, you were already here. Like you were already at these locations. You have these things to reference. Why is it taking so long to get back to a place where you already were? Yes, Aqua, I would say that the Origami King is okay. And I do think that the leap between Color Splash and Origami King was a little bit, like, I don't know how exactly I'd quantify it, but I think this basic diagram shows off my my big gripes. You know, like why can't we get this same? And you know what? Honestly, we almost did. Origami King was actually quite a bit closer. It was just that battle system for me. It just took so much out of it. It was so awful. But we won't get back to that. You already heard that. It's been recorded. We can see that when it's on YouTube again. And you could see all of this here. My frantic scribblings of a madman. But yeah, that's my basic rundown of my thoughts on Origami King. Overall, I think a really enjoyable game because, like I said at the beginning, I think a lot of people don't have the same gripes of the battle system that I do. You know, like, I do think it was quite a bit just my point of view, and some people will enjoy it. I know some people that do really like the bosses. The bosses. Like, I saw quite a few videos that were talking about how they enjoyed it. They actually enjoyed the bosses and the fights, you know? So, like, it really is just going to be a matter of what you enjoy in the end. Like, all things, right? But, yeah, I do think I could definitely recommend the story with no gripes at all. Really fun, really, like, chill. Really funny, definitely. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I'm glad to hear that, Aqua. I was kind of, like, not worried about this, but just gonna see how this would come out. Might do it again for other games. Probably not, like, in the near future, but yeah. Thank you for everybody that came. Anybody that's still here after all this time. But I think next time we'll do some more drawing of stuff, and we'll see you later. Bye!